Welcome, everybody, to the Urban Forestry Committee meeting for the month of October. We will start by taking a roll call and start with
Joe Scott,
Carol Hannah,
Carrie Dodd,
Karen Lyle.
and our non-voting members.
Julie Mitchell.
Me.
Okay, well, we have a quorum this month, so glad that we can move forward with approving the minutes of the last meeting. Did we approve the
Yes, the August.
August ones already?
Yes.
Okay,
Um,
I thought we didn't have,
We did.
so,
okay,
oh,
We did
okay.
last time.
okay, all right,
So just the September.
okay. So this
So-
is September, our September 18th meeting. So if you want to review those, if you haven't already, and we'll take a motion to approve them.
I'll make a motion to approve the September minutes.
Okay.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, taking care of that business. So we will move right into our old business then and let Denise take over.
Okay. Yeah, we have two old businesses. Just a couple of quick updates for our Tree Campus K through 12 program. I will show you here on the big screen here. They did get their materials. They do have them posted there in the school. That is their flag that looks very close to our Tree City USA flag that we have hanging up at the park. So they've got that now hung, and then also their plaque. So each year you'll see it kind of cut off a little bit, but you'll see that there is a little plate that they could slide in their effective year. So for the 2024 school year to 2025, they were acknowledged from Arbor Day Foundation as a Tree Campus K through 12 school. And that covers that elementary and intermediate school for the work that they did for the fourth graders and the fifth graders. The fourth graders was the celebration and proclamation of the Arbor Day that we did last fall in 24. And then in the spring, we had two programs, which was the poster contest and then the STEM Day that we had at the end of the year. So very excited. They definitely want to repeat all of that this year. We'll talk a little bit about the Arbor Day proclamation. But they are, she's going to double check, but she was supposed to get a press release and a letter, a formal letter from Arbor Day. So she said that was not in their packet. So she's going to reach out to them and see if they could get that. So then that way we can use that to release to the newspapers. If not, we'll just go ahead and move forward and release something in the newspaper, as well as we're going to include coverage on it in our Town of Pendleton newsletter that will go out here at the end of the month. And then we also will acknowledge that on both of the Facebook pages as well. So we'll definitely, we've just kind of been holding up, thinking that she was going to get a follow-up letter like we do for the Tree City Campus or Tree City USA acknowledgements. So we will kick that out. And as far as the Arbor Day celebration proclamation, we did last year, the first week of November is where we had the one tree come in and get planted there right in the front of the school parking lot there. And then we met with the fourth graders and we talked about and did an exercise on the benefits of trees and then talked a little bit about the history of Arbor Day. They are definitely wanting to do that, but they wanted to kind of couple that with the 9 Star Project, which we'll talk about that here in a little bit. We were hoping to be able to have that this week, but it's looking like it's going to be later on in October or first week in November. If we find that, again, we're going to talk about that, but if it's not going to work to be able to team that and couple that up with that project, we're going to go ahead and just go ahead and let them select another tree. It might be another oak tree. We've historically had a different species of the oak family planted on the school grounds, but we will just work with Bluegrass Farms and set a date either the last week of October or the first week of November. The first week of November pretty much is the dead end, or we'd have to move to the spring just because of it getting too cold for the kiddos. So and us. So I think one year it was a little cold. I think last year, it was pretty warm if I remember right. And that was that first week, I think it was the 4th or 5th of November. So,
It's either too cold or too warm. one or the other.
yeah,
It's never just right.
yes. It was.
Well, we need rain before we've held off
Yeah, on tree plantings,
Planting.
yes. Yeah.
until we get some moisture in the ground.
Mhm. Yeah, that was one of my thoughts too, of with the 9 Star service project that with it being delayed a little bit, that probably isn't a bad thing. So,
No.
so we're hoping we can get that back on track. So I will keep you posted and let you know as soon as we know if we're going to use one of those trees. There was a shingle oak tree that we will, or a swamp white oak tree, sorry, that we thought we could use for that activity. So she just felt that kind of consolidating their time and the students' time and getting away would be the best. So I'll let you know on that. And then the middle school, I need to connect. I've communicated with Melanie McCarty on their project. They were working on the leaf collection project here this fall. But I just reached out to her to let her know that it's probably going to be November before I'm able to get with her. So we're kind of working through some things, and I explained a little bit earlier before the meeting started. We are down on staff, and we're working on trying to get a position filled, and so we're kind of shifting and covering things right now. So I just let her know that I will get back with her in November, and then that way we can start making some plans for our springtime of when we do a tree hands-on experience as well as a tree planting opportunity around Arbor Day. So we'll have at least those two activities that they will be able to put into their Tree City campus application by May or June. So I just told her, I said, I don't want to let that to continue because I want to be able to keep on track. And she was she's got the link to be able to get their account going and so forth. So I'll check back with her and see if she was able to do that. Okay. Any questions on that piece of it?
That sounds good.
Okay, all right. With the next piece here, this is a project that's still in motion. Again, really want to express my gratitude and thanks to Carrie Dodd. Carrie Dodd has done an enormous amount of work. I'm sure you probably feel like you're chasing, our tails, on this a little bit. We did learn some news last week that's a little bit unfortunate, and but just for those that don't know, we were wanting to commemorate the 5-year anniversary, October the 20th. We had done 200 trees at residential properties and 100 trees at the park in honor of replacement efforts, recovery efforts for our tornado that went through in 2019. So that Saturday morning, we had planted 300 trees across the jurisdiction of the town of Pendleton. And in honor of that, I'd met with Tammy Bowman as well as Rachel Christensen sometime, I think it was around May of last year. They were working through their strategic plan for the foundation. They said once they got through that process, they wanted to start talks about this tree project in honor of that effort. And so we had touched base probably late July, early August, and at that point, Carrie Dodd was on board and on staff on the foundation. So with her role here for the Urban Forestry Committee, as well as her professional career role at the foundation, she very kindly offered to help us in taking lead with this project. And in the meantime, we had seen that 9 Star had a cooperative service day scheduled for the 10th of October, and there was a grant application due on the 22nd of August. So we worked to get that submitted. That included some narrative as well as some just explaining that what we would like to obtain out of this project is planting 5 trees on each of the 7 school campuses within South Madison. So the foundation is a big supporter and service provider to the LaPel schools. So there's 2 campuses there in LaPel, and then we have the 5 campuses here with the 3 elementaries, the middle school, and the high school. So conversations started taking place, I'd say late August. I think the application went out to 9 Star. 9 Star had reached back out and expressed strong interest in making this happen. But they had indicated that it would be best to identify another day than their service day. And their service day fell within fall break time as well. So I think they were lower on staff as well. And so just in conversation, there was a week gap in between LaPel's fall break, which is next week, and then the Pendleton schools, which is last week. So we had earmarked hopefully for Wednesday and Thursday of this week to have 9 Star come in, work with Banning Engineering for some manpower. And we were also going to let you all know. So a couple weeks ago, we found out that the school system through South Madison Community Schools had found out that their school policy, they have to have a private locator come in, locate those trees. And apparently those costs have gone up, and it was going to be about 2,500 to 3,000 for them to come in and locate those 25 trees, or to do the locates for those 25 trees, which was about the cost of those trees. So unfortunately, it fell at a time of them getting that notification was when fall break was for school. And so they are in talks this week. Kim McCarty, I've got a message out to him. He's supposed to get back with us to let us know if that's something that they can take on, or if there's any type of negotiation with Bloodhound to where we can get those costs down. To where they can move forward with the tree planting project. So reached back out to him yesterday. Just
Does
left him.
LaPel have the same issue?
No,
LaPel does not.
no, LaPel was.
They're
ready
good
to
to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did 9 Star agree to do lapels as well?
Yes, they
Yes.
did.
They were excited actually to
They
do
were,
LaPels.
yeah.
Cause,
Wow.
just to reach out
Yeah.
past
Yeah.
to
Their territory.
Yeah, their territory.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the reasons why it did not kind of qualify for that service day, is because the fact that it was outside of their territory.
Exactly.
But they have an interest in expanding their territory. So being able to create those partnerships and relationships was very important to them, and they really gravitated, towards that opportunity. So,
I was very frustrated and tried my best. I saw efforts going south of Greenfield, much more so. And I
okay,
kept saying, come this way.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, they're here in the presence, but, yeah.
Yeah.
For any kind of growth or such, so.
Yeah. I think it was a Brian and a Ryan,
Very
right?
interesting.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
Brian's the guy, he and I went out to the 3 of the schools. The high school, the middle school, and East Elementary, or Pendleton Elementary, and placed flags. And so, yeah, Brian is, I met with Brian.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Ryan is from Kimball.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Let's go. So we are hopeful. So what I've learned about the whole 811 and Bloodhound. So we've kind of been trying to piece this together here this last week. Apparently, the way that locates work is different for a campus, a larger property parcel than say a smaller commercial or a residential. So a smaller commercial or residential can contact 811, they can come in and they can do it for no cost. Who pays for that is the utilities service providers. So our locates that we provide for water locates and our electric locates, we actually cover the cost of those. So it's not a free service. It is for those that are calling in the 811s locates. However, the providers cover those fees. With a school system, with a hospital, those larger campus parcels, they call in 811. So I think that what had happened is that the schools called in the 811s. They contacted bloodhounds to do the locates as well. 811 has come out and has done, I know that you said that middle school had that done. 811 will cover what is in the right of way. But beyond that, when it gets in those large parcels, then that's where those entities have to go through their own private company. And so the school corporation has had a contract with Bloodhound. And so that's why they have to go through Bloodhound. We knew of this a little bit with working with the elementary school, because each year I, reach out early August and say, okay, when would be good? They'll go ahead and get Bloodhound come out there. But last year, that's why it got bumped until the 1st of November, because Bloodhound was behind and it took them, I think, 5 weeks to get out there and get it located. So we got the clearance,
But the school paid for that.
but the school had paid for it, but she said that she didn't know how much it was,
much
but
it
I
was.
don't think
But
it was
just
very
one
much at all,
tree.
just one
Yeah,
tree. Yes.
Yeah.
And so then going in and having 5 trees per campus. And, they've got a lot of, utilities that they're covering, fiber, electric, gas, water, they're doing it all. Then that's when things, complicated the cost of it. And I think for the elementary, the email that I got from the principal, Hagerman, she had indicated it was going to cost their campus alone $600 just for those 5 trees. So it sounds like about $100 a tree is kind of what, or so. So they could not give approval. So Bloodhound had on the schedule, then that invoice and then for approval before they come out and did it, it went through then Susie that works up at the school corporation. And that's where it had put on hold because it was too large of a cost to be able to give approval without it going through administration. So I don't know if it was something that has to go up through school board or if it's something that Ken and administration can make a decision on or not. But
They're meeting tonight, yeah.
yeah, so that's what I was
But I
thinking that it is a meeting. I don't know if that's something that will be discussed or not.
Mhm.
I just offered, if there's anything that we can do to help, we would. Banning over across the way, they have their own in-house locator. And they said that they would be of assistance to help out. They'd be more than willing to allow that, but we just don't know if it's contractually, they have to go through
Mhm.
Bloodhound and that whole process. So I just, said that,
Yeah, they probably
we'll-
have a contract with them,
yeah.
So we're just on hold.
We're just on hold.
Hold.
We did ask because lapel is ready to go. They've got everything staked and, located. If they would want to, Carrie had, offered, is that something that we can go ahead and knock out lapels? But unfortunately, they just felt like getting their team and their manpower, their equipment and all that stuff makes sense. Do it all together. So we'll just wait and see. Maybe we'll hear word tomorrow and see if we can go ahead and get it, taken care of next week, and then that following week we can get 9 Star out here. Banning said that they're ready to go. They've got 4 or 5 employees that, whether which day of the week or whatnot, that they can team together and help out as well. So we were just so it's just like we're all excited about it, and it just felt deflated last week, and but hopefully, we'll be able to get, some good news that maybe there is some type of negotiation, and being that it's for a good cause. We're hoping that they can get them to
And it
come
includes
down.
East Elementary.
East, yes, East
Does
Elementary.
include East.
It
Yeah,
includes
East
East
does, but
3, right? Yes.
he doesn't want all the trees. He didn't want the 5. But he didn't want softwood trees.
And
So
it does
it's gonna
include
take
Maple
some.
Ridge.
It's gonna take
Maple
the
Ridge.
hardwoods.
Okay, well,
Everybody's included.
Everyone.
All the
Good.
campuses are, yeah.
Good.
But now that after I talked to the secretary at East, it turns out their water table's really high there and they've had poor luck. So the swamp oak should do well.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was like, okay, well, but that, So, but that's everybody else's that they want, but all fine.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll, yeah, it'll be,
Hopefully. I hope, yeah.
yeah, hopefully we'll get some good news and we can, work it out. I guess, plan B is then, we've talked to the nursery. I know that, Carrie has, I've talked to Mike as well, and they said that they're under irrigation tanks or beds or something, that he said they'll be completely fine. We didn't need to come and pick them up. And that was one of my big concerns,
Yeah,
is
they
that
were.
having our street department going, picking them up, and they're sitting up there and,
And then
making sure,
Mhm.
especially
Yeah.
this time of drought, that, they're
Yeah.
not getting watered and, because they're busy, working on some projects right now.
Right.
So he was very kind and understanding. I guess plan B is that we could see if Nine Star would be open to modifying, the tree planting sites and, maybe working, with, the park. I've talked to Donnie. He said that he can think of definitely 10 places of trees. He said 5 at the golf course and 5. I can't remember if he said the sports complex or there's somewhere else in the park that he felt like that he could find homes for. So that would be 10. We would have to take the service berries, but there could be some street trees in that public right of way. But the service berry is the only small scale tree that we, could have, but they do very well. So we could take those. That would, be 5 of them that we can plant in the, we've lost some trees on Broadway, State Street, so there's some voids in there that we can definitely use those in
Yeah.
those spots,
Yeah.
but, it just really kind of takes away from the whole project and,
Yeah.
being there for the school and being able to promote the Tree Campus
Mhm.
program and giving that opportunity for, one of those, checking off the box in case that they do want to apply, for this next year. So we'll keep you posted. All in all, is about a $3,300 project. The
Some
yeah,
double.
Nine Star is gonna cover about $1,800 of the cost of the trees, the mulch. The rest of it was funded here from the town, $1,000 in tree stock, and then about $500 for watering bags. We ordered 36 20-gallon watering bags for those trees. And then the other is stakes and rope there to give some stability for those trees. That was very important for Nine Star, that we had those provided for each tree.
Mhm.
So we ordered those, and they're in and ready to go, ready to be installed. Also, our street department was going to be picking them up. They were going to take care of that. That's out at Charlotte Creek Nursery in Carthage, off of 40. So they were going to go pick those up whenever we're ready, green light to go on that. And then they also are going to then be making the water tank. ATV kind of side by side there. Whether Lapel will probably have to take it by trailer, but most of the campuses here will just drive out and we'll fill those bags up and get a good start for them. So I think
Okay.
Carrie's done an amazing job getting it all planned out and, all the logistics, covered. We just got to get the 811s done before we do. So, all right. Okay, then just wanted, before I forget, we've got Tree Steward Workshop coming up November. It is in Evansville. So as far as the registration, we can cover the registration piece of it through the town urban forestry fund. But then we also have the symposium that is coming up here on the 9th and the 10th of December. So registration is still open for that. If you would like to attend that, it is something where if you just want to go down for one day, you don't have to go for both days. So it's all inclusive, but it is a free event. We just gotta register. So we'll, let me know and we'll get you registered on that.
What
Jim?
dates, is Evansville? The tree steward in Evansville,
Yes.
is that the 9th and 10th? of
No,
December?
that's the 6th and 7th of November.
Okay.
Yeah. That one, I mean, of course, with the drive even, you know, you definitely would need to stay.
Yeah.
It is a 2 days back to back, full with great information. And they really do a great job of finding specialists in a lot of different areas, from tree trimmings to biology to pest control to, yeah, they really did a really well-rounded workshop.
So town would cover the registration with them.
Yes,
I-
let me,
We would cover personally hotel.
let me confirm that. I'm not for sure. We've not had any, since I've been here on staff, any long distance, except for there was a historic preservation commission or historic preservation. And that one was in, I believe, was it Fort Wayne? Sandy Butler went and Kate Edwards went. But I do believe that it was out of town. So let me check on that to see, okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, just because I'm not familiar, the symposium, where is that?
That one is in Bloomington this year. Last year, it was at Crown Hill Cemetery.
Yes.
So, and I don't believe I grabbed that, as far as I think there's a park there in Bloomington. But it's not, the name of it's not coming to me, and I don't believe I grabbed that. I mean, that could be, if you want to go both days, I mean, that could be a turnaround, but is to a little bit of a drive, so.
Sure,
So
sure.
let me check to
It's not-
see on that, and because we've got training budget within the planning department. I wouldn't think that hotels would be exempt from that, but I will confirm.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And is the symposium what, as worth it as the tree steward?
yeah, I think there was educational topics. They had a lot of different speakers, but if you're looking to cover more, uh, practical tools, tips, best
Yeah, the
management
symposium
practice.
had a lot of people talking about what they did in their community.
Yes.
So it's more just sharing information.
Network.
Yeah. The tree
Networking
stewards is like,
roundtable.
it's like going to school.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's, yeah,
Mhm.
it's
It's
a
good.
curious, yeah,
Yeah.
very, very good and detailed.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's, they're kind of two different
Two
different
yeah.
things, yeah.
Yes.
But getting ideas, I mean, it was interesting what some communities have done. Then you can kind of network.
Yeah.
Kind of shared about some, the orchard and, different representatives from those projects spoke and shared and,
Yeah.
And the tree steward, is that just once a year?
the tree stewards is, this year they've had 2 sessions. They had one early, it just wrapped up last week. And that was the ones, I think I have last month's presentation. I can't, it was
We'd still like to have one
Muncie. It was
here
in
sometime.
Muncie.
Yeah.
We'd
Yeah.
like to host
Yeah.
it sometime.
Yeah, and I let
Yeah.
Rachel know that every year that we'd
Yeah.
love to host one of those.
Yeah.
And she said, she goes, I definitely have you on the list, but I think that a lot probably started offering that, sooner than we did.
Yeah.
And so in 24 was the first time I said,
And
we
it's probably
really,
good
after
to
we went
have
to Richmond
One
for
down
ours.
in Southern Indiana.
Yeah.
That's.
So you would think the next one would be
could be-
either central or closer to us than
Yeah.
Evansville.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is what, that's what I was, if I pass this up, how long will it be before?
Yeah.
Another,
The year before, I think they had 3 workshops.
okay,
3 sessions, but then this year, they put all of their trainings on hold until, of course, some of the funding thing, was working through that early in the year. But then Jacob Rose, he was on family leave for about 6 weeks. He had a little one. So his staff, he felt like we need to wait until the fall. So they just offered the 2 sessions in the fall for
Okay.
next year.
Okay,
So,
but
yeah, but-
there'll be some next year,
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
at
I,
least,
yeah.
at least one.
And I think it was spring. I think we went in the springtime, didn't we? Maybe, or maybe early summer. When was it that we had ours?
It was fall.
Oh, it was fall because the
Mhm.
leaves were
The
coming
leaves
down.
were
Yes,
coming down.
yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I went to a kind of a follow-up session, which they haven't offered that this year, which I felt like that seemed more fitting for intro. It was more condensed and it didn't get as in depth, and that was at Holiday Park. But then that might have been in the spring
Yeah.
time when they
They
did
have,
it.
yeah, there'll be some other offerings that
Yeah.
won't require you driving to
Mhm.
Evansville.
Yeah. So, Yeah.
The Bloomington Symposium is in Switchyard Park.
Switchyard Park.
And
Okay.
I've got the agenda for it, if anybody wants me to send it to you.
Yeah.
please.
Okay. I'll just need your,
And it should be. It's on the group that she's in. Jay Mitchell at 2Ls.
Okay,
Pendleton. IN. Thank you.
Does the agenda seem to be kind of just more community related, community projects and?
I don't know, I just
Oh.
saw that I pulled up the agenda.
Oh,
I haven't
okay,
looked at the
okay,
details
okay,
of it
okay.
yet, so.
Yep, we will get that, but yep, let me know if you'd like to attend. Okay. Okay. The, so we have, we shared about this a little bit last month. There's 3 actual grant opportunities within, the Division of Forestry, division there at Indiana DNR. The second one is the State Urban Forest Resilience Grant. We didn't feel that that was really fitting to our needs and our community at this time. But the 2 other projects is the Community and Urban Forestry Grant, and then there is that Small Town Big Tree Grant. They're very similar. It's just the fact that the Small Town Big Tree Grant is a smaller scale project. So it was like that $500 to $5,000 grant dollars. It's a dollar for dollar. So then if we were requesting a $5,000 grant, then it would be a total of $10,000 project. Same thing that then for the Community and Urban Forestry Grant, it is a maximum of $30,000. I think it's 1,000 minimum, 30,000 maximum. As far as those eligible items, they're pretty similar. That is tree inventory, tree management plan updates or creation. There was also the improving our tree canopy resilience to pests, storm events, and so forth. Ordinance updates, establishment of a nonprofit. Some communities don't have urban forestry, such as ours. Then also there was creating a tree inventory, doing an update to your inventory, as well as even a food, forest, and community garden. So we talked about it last month, and there was a vote within our board to move forward with an application. And what we had decided is that we have our 2016 tree management plan, and that is recommended to be updated every 10 years. And so I had met with Erin Flint. She works for Davy Resource. She's been a consultant for the town for over probably good 5, 8 years. And so we already kind of knew that that was on our radar, that we wanted to update in 26. This grant is due next Thursday, the 23rd. And I think it's like the 5th or 17th of November. We'll find out if awards will be, if we are awarded this grant. And then it has to be completed by May 1st of 2027. So in that, we have then those that are recipients of this grant would have the spring of 26, the fall of 26, and then maybe even a little bit of early spring of 27 to be able to build this program out. The one piece of it is that you can, and the great thing about it is you can do a combination thereof. You don't have to just choose just strictly the tree management plan update. And actually, in fact, that hands-on, that public outreach and those tree planting projects kind of doubling up and having a variety of focuses in your grant and makes your grant application strong. So we talked about doing an update to the plan, because we've also got to keep in mind, the feasibility of it. Erin Flint and I spoke a couple weeks ago, and she was going to try to get us the document here this week. I've not received it yet, but we did, we talked through what we felt like for an update of our tree management plan. Keep in mind, Davy Resource did our original one. So she's very familiar with it, but she said that she felt like that in, kind of our growing community and our needs and just kind of talking through things, she suggested 5 focuses on that update. The cost of it, she said she's going to put a project cost, per focus and per section of that plan. And so, if we find that it's not feasible, we may have to knock some of those things out. But because we said that probably a $60,000 project is probably not going to be, feasible for us, but a $30,000 project would be feasible. So we've got support from town leadership. We're able to pull from some funds like the electric department, just because a lot of the management of the trees are under our lines and on our utility easement. So we're very fortunate, with that. But what she felt like was the best combination would be doing an inventory analysis update. So it's kind of the structural coverage as far as, what our tree canopy species is, looking at the current species, their conditions, and the data. She would pick up from the original inventory that they did in 2016. Davy Resource fortunately already did the update from our loss of our trees from our tornado, as well as our input of those 300 trees that went into that project. And then we also did we were wrapping up, there was kind of 2 projects going on at the same time in around 2020. We had that recovery tree project, but then we also had a community and urban forestry grant that we had filed in 2018 that had to be closed out by June of 2021. So in that project, that's where we planted 60 trees that was in, and it had to be on public right of way or public land. It could not be on residential property. So that's why that project that we did that fall before didn't count. So we planted trees at the park, sports complex, the North 40. We did some in the park proper, as well as the cemetery. And then we did some out there on South Heritage Way. And we had some infill trees that those who could not get trees at the residential tree plantings in October 2020. We added some street trees for them, as well as the golf course. So anyway, we had a good variety there. So those have been updated into the tree keeper as well. The other ones have been updated primarily through either those that Tanya Dodson through Plant Growth Management in her annual um, assessment and updates have taken place. And then we've had some also from the park. Um, so, um, so she would take that inventory, she would do an updated analysis of that. And she would be able to give kind of, what our current conditions and tree species count would look like. The second piece would be a maintenance strategy. So we have in the tree keeper program, we have some work logs, some work orders, uh, infrastructure conflicts that we kind of, put in some information, but it's not a fully worked program. So it would be more guidance and establishing a little bit more of goals and objectives for our maintenance of our tree program. And then also kind of talk about growing space, land use, and then also potential threats as far as pests and so forth. So just giving us a good plan moving forward. I feel like that Pendleton, for the size of our community, we're very, very progressive. And, but at the same time, we want to make sure that the planning documents that we create, we also work them as well. And so I think that she said that we're going to kind of pull back and give us a little bit more. And what we'll do is, as I explained to her, is I'd like to create, whether it's, of course, it's going to be us as members as well, but also a steering committee that we can kind of work along with her in the spring of 26 through the spring of 27 in creating this maintenance piece. So the second one, we have best management practices. She talked about problematic trees, older, younger trees, certain species. She brought up a point that I thought was a good point, and this is something that we'll probably vet this out and discuss. The approved tree list that we approved in August, I believe, was the approved tree list that DNR has come up with, and it was those tables that really talked about soil, heat, sun tolerance, all that kind of stuff. And she really was thrilled that we adopted that. But she said that there is also positive rewards of considering some non-native trees instead of 100% focusing on native trees. And I said, well, we'll listen to you, and walk us through those concepts. I think with that creates a little bit more diversity. It creates some opportunity to, if there is a pest that comes through that, and she said that
Is that part of this second? Is that part of the second bullet point?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Well, yes,
Yeah.
the tree maintenance kind of goals and
Yeah.
kind of
okay.
considering, certain species. Do we want to entertain broadening our approved tree list to some non-native trees? She said that.
Well, let's just see what the bullet points are and then
Mhm.
see what the cost is. And then we can analyze maybe which one.
Yeah.
Which ones are important or if we have to drop any off. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't know right now
How
it's all gonna add up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that was the one piece that she had suggested. The other is staff analysis, looking into how we can be creative with some partnerships, some internships, staffing for our projects, our Facebook, our social media, our inventory. Do we, what we have going on with plant growth management with the inventory, is that something that we want to continue doing? Or do we want to bring it a little bit more in-house and have an intern come in and work with us through that program? Having a little bit more involvement and kind of maybe making that a little bit more controlled with, our staff here and maybe there's some opportunities that we're not thinking of and tapping into. So that was the other piece, and then streamlining a budget. So we had in our first management, if you look at the budget, it is very extensive and it's very daunting and it's not a real workable budget. We kind of streamlined and simplified to be able to keep, we have to have a 5-year operating budget to submit for our Tree City USA. So we did simplify that. And so she will then kind of take that and kind of work that into a little bit more and embed it into our tree management plan instead of it being kind of a silo budget off to the side. So I just explained that, we just want to make sure that what we're saying we're doing. And what we're doing is something that we can practically do. So that's just important to me. And she said, absolutely. So that would be what, we'll be getting in. Hopefully I'll get that tomorrow or Monday because I let her know that I'm going to be at AIM next week. And I really would like to apply for this grant no later than Monday evening. So we'll.
Could we apply for the whole thing even, and then if we don't get all of the money that we're applying for, we wouldn't have to do the whole project?
Yeah.
So are they gonna say, oh,
Yeah.
well, no to the whole thing, or would they break it down? I mean, could we
Yeah.
just,
Yeah,
right,
From being on that review committee, that was a different
Mhm.
grant. It was the grant, it was more federal dollars that we were not going to apply or would not qualify for. Being on those review committees 2 times, they did have because they'll ask, can you scale up or scale down?
yeah.
And so we would indicate that, yes,
Because
absolutely.
maybe we
can.
ask for everything,
Mhm.
right.
even if,
Yeah,
I
the
agree.
maximum of
I
our
think that's what we
co-match
should-
ability.
Mhm.
Yeah.
As long
Yeah.
as they know that if this is beyond the scope that you're thinking. then
yeah,
we-
because
we would,
it would be hard to
plan.
add to anything. It
Right.
would be
It's
easy
easier
to take away.
To scale up.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the third bullet point was the staff management.
Staff, so the fourth one, that staff analysis is kind of looking into some creative ways of how.
And then I missed the third one.
Yeah, me too.
did too.
Oh, the third, the tree maintenance goals, that's more just best practices.
Okay, then I missed the second one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, they're a little bit
I'm
different.
missing something.
Yeah, so the inventory maintenance strategy, she said that's more of how we're going to manage our inventory.
Yeah, okay.
And keeping those records current, running those reports on like our inventory, if we were to say,
Well, can you just go down through
oh,
what
yep.
the 5 are?
Yeah,
And then,
so the first one
Just
is
high level.
more our tree stock, kind of like what
Okay.
what we've got percentage wise of say maples,
Okay.
oaks,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
all that kind of stuff, our tree species, what we have out there. And just a breakdown as far as kind of our inventory analysis. And then the strategy as far as inventory maintenance, that's just more of how we're going to manage that inventory.
Okay,
Okay.
And then the other
okay.
is, excuse me, is looking at more of kind of I looked at it as far as kind of our policy, how we're going to maybe even and I didn't put it down here, as far as our replacement rates, how we're going to, because we're
Yeah.
losing a lot,
Yeah,
but we're not planting, that 3-to-1 ratio. So, and then just looking at, we do have some older trees that, we're losing a lot of our maples. Do we?
okay. And then the staff analysis.
And then staff
and then
analysis,
the budget.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
and then straight, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm, yeah. Of those 5, What if we do get some costs, because we're not gonna have a meeting beforehand, if we get costs that it's going to overextend, then say that 30,000, because we're probably gonna need somewhere between 5 and 10,000 for a tree project, if we want to have that hands-on tree
Mhm.
planting, public outreach opportunity. So that's gonna leave probably around, 20,000 for, this tree management update.
Mhm.
Is your priorities, what speaks to you as far as?
Well, I don't think they're all gonna be equal in cost, are they?
Probably not.
So I think it
Yeah.
depends on what the
Mhm.
costs are
Yeah.
and which, I mean, if we, how much money we have and how much, yeah, I would think
Yeah.
these are all gonna have
Different levels, yeah.
different levels of
Yeah.
cost.
And that's why I was so hoping that I would be able to
Yeah.
bring that to you tonight
Mhm.
and have those dollars, for you. The,
Cause she didn't give you any like.
that's why
ballpark.
I said, do you have an
And-
idea,
yeah.
anything? Is this gonna put us to where we could be looking at like $30,000 grant? That
Mhm.
would be us contributing at 15,000. I just know that our funds, we're not gonna have 30,000, to be able to put towards this grant.
Okay,
Um,
yeah,
So if having somewhere between, like, say, 5,000 for the tree project, 10,000 for the management plan update is what I felt like was gonna be practical. And I
Mhm.
expressed that to her, but she was like, I just need to go back and do my
do the, yeah,
numbers and get
Yeah.
with my team and get back with you. Um, My, my thoughts are, the streamlined budget, I really feel like that we need that. We need that to be able to be in compliance, to be able to be eligible. And I don't think that that's gonna be a big ticketed item.
that doesn't sound
I
like
think
it
it's
would
gonna be more of a template that we can simplify or make as complex as we want to.
Yeah,
So that one I felt like would be, something that we definitely wanted to do, but I felt like as far as, the inventory analysis, I think that if we don't capture that this round, then we're gonna be,
That's
20
kind of
years
a-
behind.
yeah.
We need a good picture of what our
yeah,
community
that's
looks
kind of a
like.
baseline.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that was the one priority for me. I think that helps as far as us with planning and our unified development ordinance too, that we make sure that any new development stays in line where we're deficient.
that probably in maintenance, our maintenance goals and planning, I mean, staff analysis would probably be nice, but
Yeah, that's,
I mean, I don't know that it would contribute enough to make it. Of course, it may not be very expensive either.
yeah, well, yeah, and I didn't, I
Yeah.
agree. I don't
I mean-
feel that, that's something I think that we can make decisions on without that, guidance.
Yeah.
So that was the lowest for me on that
Yeah.
piece. But I do feel that the maintenance strategy and goals, with best management practices and so forth,
That could be-
climate and, right tree, right place type thing, those type of things, I think would be good.
I'm
to have
thinking
that.
too, if we can't do it all right now, let's start with the foundation that we need. Maybe we can do we can do some of it next year or the year after. We don't have, if we can't afford all of it right now.
Sure.
But like you said, just kind of getting that baseline of knowing where we are. Add-ons later.
Does that sound good? Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I think us getting that plan. The small scale tree planting project, we she did confirm, because she works with, what she, represents. I think I don't know if she's on the board of Indiana DNR, but she said that she strongly encouraged us to do a tree planting project. It gives the opportunity for the public to be involved. Talked to her about our Franklin Street project and kind of how we did that and how we allowed them to make, selection or have a say in the selection. She said that she thinks that they would accept that, and be very welcoming of that. There is a work plan piece to it that they do, ask for a tree species. So what we would do is that I would anticipate just kind of using that same stock of what we use
Mhm.
for our street
Yeah.
trees for
Mhm.
Franklin, showing that as an example. And then just having that to where then we're not, because we don't have to have an exact place for a tree planting project. We don't have to have those locates, but we want to identify a lot of the downtown. If that seems to sound good to you, we just have voids. We have trees that we've lost that need to be replaced. I'd love for us to then be able to kind of do an assessment. We get this grant, walk through the downtown and be able to find out exactly where those voids are. And, make sure that each of the streets here are as equitable as possible and kind of spread those,
Yeah.
25, 50 trees out. But I'll list then those small scale trees that we have on our approved tree list.
Yeah.
So we'll do that and then give a map of our, area here where we'd like to, focus in on those trees and then would love to be able to have the public involved with that. We would have a public kind of maybe an open house meeting and invite the residents to come here. And I would love to work with signage and have some of those trees visible for them and for them to be able to come in and we'll probably have to have, those locations identified, but then let them kind of pick and choose, what trees that they would
Yeah.
like to have planted on their roads. Is that, and then I would like to, and this is something that I don't feel like would bring any extreme cost to the matter, but it would give an in-kind service opportunity to be able to put in on the match. But what are your thoughts of, with this being in 27, so May of 27, having it to where our goal is that have all of the South Madison Community Schools in, on a tree campus, roadmap? Would that be something that you would like to work out and build out in this opportunity? Or do you feel like that's too much? To where
What
if
would
we,
the money be used for then?
I don't know if it would be cost, it would just be educating the public for benefits of the trees.
Just to
and
enhance the
then
grant,
just kind
you
of,
think?
yes,
Even though it's not gonna-
yes,
Yeah.
just to kind of help build out that awareness and really promote our schools that have that. Already, we'd have 2 campuses that would have that recognition, hopefully by that point.
So how does that fit into the grant that you're writing then?
It would just be another elevation of educating
Of
the
the
public and that
education,
public
but-
outreach piece
Yeah,
of it.
okay.
But we don't have to, we can
Yeah.
just keep it limited to just the residents here that would be receiving the trees and involving them. I just thought it would be a way that we can pull the youth into it. Students.
What if the goal was just for the elementaries
Elementary.
and not
The other 2
the high
elementaries.
school, junior?
The middle school schools already working on
Yeah,
it.
the middle school is.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that idea of making sure that
The
all the elementaries are included and
yeah,
that we can build to the high school.
yeah. I kind of like that. That would be adding 2 more schools then.
That seems a lot
It seems more
sounds
inclusive
more
to me.
doable than
Yeah, to me,
having
it
to
seems
fit
like
4
we're
in.
including,
Yeah, so letting,
instead of everything
yeah,
right here.
so when when the students get to the middle school, they're
Yeah.
not being exposed to it for the first time.
Mhm.
That came across, my daughter is teaching at a university down in Virginia. And on their campus, they have some very nice tree that is big, nice trees on the campus. And the maintenance department want them all cut down because the cost of maintenance is so high that they want it removed. So 50 years from now, will that happen in our schools, campuses?
So they said the maintenance
Yeah,
of the trees.
he's,
were
he's
so
wondering
high.
if down the road, the schools are gonna say, all these trees are too expensive to keep, we're gonna cut them down,
Oh,
is what he's.
That's what happening
Yeah.
now on their campus right now.
Mhm.
And they approach that not to cut them down, but you know how to go. So because the cost is so high, the university want them to move.
That doesn't preclude you from planting them now, though.
Yeah, no, that's,
Yeah.
You just take that risk.
yeah,
Who
50 years
knows,
from
50
now,
years,
we don't care.
well, I care, but we
50
may
years,
not be here.
Yeah, we won't be here, but
Hopefully, everyone will realize how important trees are.
Right.
Well, I think the whole point of us, all the things that we're doing to make it an integral part of our community will sustain it. And
Because
that
the kids will be the adults
It's, right,
making those decisions.
yeah, if we continue as Harbor City as continue these programs. Yeah, so I think it is essential to put them in the schools so the kids are thinking about it.
Mhm.
And it's just how it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're growing up just,
that's how it is.
yeah.
yeah.
We're a very
Absolutely.
treed town. And so I think that would help get, yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, well, like you said, yeah, it builds that stewardship from an early age that then when they are in the adult role to make those
Making those
decisions, then they,
decisions, yeah.
say, no, they're here to
Mhm.
stay.
Mhm.
You know, the thing that I absolutely love about, and I'd love to hear a story, is one from the elementary here, if someone came back and actually, followed through with taking a picture of them standing next to the tree, when they
Yeah.
graduate.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're gonna have to find one of those students that, because I would love
Figure
for
out
that whole
which
circle
tree it
to
was.
happen. Yeah,
That they were, which year.
like, well, they remember that. They think,
Yeah.
you know what, I remember planting
Yeah.
that tree. And, and their kids are in the school and they're,
Well, if you get that and you want to talk about it some more, just give me a call. I
Okay,
can come
yes,
in and-
yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I will kick that, as I say, I'll just get that with you, Carol,
Yeah.
and then Carrie too, I know, or, the whole group and just kind of get some thoughts on,
yeah.
okay, this is probably the max that we can go, what's our, priority, and if there's even pieces in with her categories that she's, gonna be providing, maybe there's some things that she can scale back on that herself. Yep, do that, so, okay, all right. And then the only other last piece is that I've seen in projects that it costs about $1,500 for training, for tree planting. That, like I said, I've got to see what the update costs.
Mhm.